Now, the rest of the story.
Well, hi guys, happy holidays. I'm gonna head out here and look at the cows real quick. Yesterday, Ryan and I managed to do what I thought was the impossible. We got all of our cattle moved for the year, or at least we got all of our cattle moved around to where we want them. And for the most part, outside of 3 calves, I figured it was pretty much guaranteed. I mean, we all only had like 7 or 8 feeder calves down at my place that we didn't get in. I'll spin the camera around here. And it's actually darker than what it looks like on my camera. If everybody's gonna come up and say hi. This is what consists of my cow herd. I think my camera's a little blurry because it dropped and I should almost just send an insurance claim in on it. There, how's that? One of the cows is upset because one of the tasks we did yesterday that I wasn't 100% sure we were going to get it done. I was fairly confident, but we ended up pulling out the last steer bull calf out of this lot, so he ended up getting weaned off yesterday. He's in a well-secured lot. She's in a well-secured lot, so I'm not worried about mom going and looking for her calf when he's big enough to be weaned off. We got all the calves, all the cows and calves are weaned off. We got, well, let me rephrase that. Everything but the heifers in here are 100% weaned off, because I got a couple here that will end up getting weaned out yet. All of my cows that I hauled down to my place over the summer made it back here. All of my bull calves were hauled out to my brother's place because that's where we're going to run them through the chute, get them vaccinated, get them fixed. And then I hauled all of my heifers home, which is the task I wasn't sure we were going to get done because 2 of my heifers ended up getting hauled out to the steer shed, the pole shed on my brother's place. And the problem with doing that is those calves haven't been really handled any more than what they were when they got sorted out down at my place, loaded on the trailer and dumped in that lot. And we were fortunate enough that those 2 heifers of mine, which they're in here somewhere, were mellow enough that I was able to get them sorted back out in reverse order of dumping calves into that shed. I've never loaded them out that way, but we ended up pushing them into the hay section of the barn and loading them back out that way. If they were anything remotely close to as wild as the rest of the calves out there, we wouldn't have gotten them in. But I'm pretty happy. I mean, this is my cow herd. I got 5 calves out in the steer shed, pole shed, that need to be run through the chute. They're going to be fixed. 4 of those are going to be getting wheels put underneath of them, and 1 of those is going to be going in the deep freeze. I had really good luck. I guess depends on what your operation goals are when you're dealing with your cattle, but this year I'd say I had pretty good luck when it comes to my cattle because I had more heifers than steers. I had 8 heifers and 5 steers. The only real big downside to that is I had 3 cows that didn't calve, which means they're probably going away. You know, I'm not going to keep around a cow that's just basically burning feed, but these 8 heifers are going to be added to my group, added to my herd, and then some of these older cows, whenever they don't get bred back or produce a calf, they'll be getting moved down the road. And the goal is to make my average age in my cow herd trend a little bit younger than what it currently was, or what it was when I bought them. I moved out 2, 3, potentially, I was at 2 cull cows last year that I wasn't happy with. I got 1 more with a sore foot in here somewhere. Oh, she's that cow right in the center of the screen. And actually, Big Berta needs to get preg checked. Gotta get around to doing that, running all these cows through the chute, seeing where they're at. And if she isn't bred back, she'll be going down the road too. The only thing I had really liked about her is the fact that she's an older, slower cow, and she was really nice for being kind of like a nurse mother, where she kept the calves mellowed out. I left her in with the calves like down at my place, and everybody radiates towards the oldest one in the group, right? So all the feeder calves are kind of huddled around her. Somebody doesn't like Calvin here. But winter's coming. Next week they're calling for basically highs in the 20s, couple days where it doesn't get out of the teens. Ryan thinks I'm using too much bedding versus what he's going through. My opinion on that was really just I'd rather have more bedding. It's built up. It's going to stay warmer. It's drier. When we do get some colder weather, I mean, they should do just fine. Planning on keeping all of my heifers. I got 3 that I kept from last year. 278, that one to the right there of 168. She's a carryover from last year. The tan one, which, to be completely honest, maybe I shouldn't have kept. I mean, she doesn't really fit into what I was looking for as far as my cow herd. I was looking for red, but personality on her actually won me over. She's pretty chill. You can walk up to her for the most part. She isn't going to let you pat her head or nothing, but I mean, cows that are mellow, I mean, personality goes a long ways too. 151, that red one there. Great cow, great calves. The only problem is that we didn't get Rocky in until half the herd had already been in with that the Black Angus bull. So my goal is, if I don't go and buy another red bull, I'm gonna keep breeding to the red bulls and keep back the red heifers and try to push more of the red colors, not because I have to, 100% just because I want to. I prefer to have a red herd. I think they're prettier. And I do have my mole plow for down at the valley. Moved some hay back up here from one of my hay sheds. A lot of my hay is moved out. Bedding, I mean, that's actually some of the first cut stuff we made this year. So how I usually like to feed out is I feed out the first stuff I made and then just kind of get it through second and third cut as we go. See, Rocky's looking pretty good. And my problem I had this year is my cows didn't all get bred back in a nice tight time frame. So I actually had calves through, was it April to September. Actually October. I had one in October. So the calves are kind of mismatched. I would rather have them be heifers. I mean, all my steers were actually early in the season, so I got lucky there. But like these 2 younger heifers, these are actually 1, 2, and then the last one. They're kind of spread out. If it's a heifer, I don't care. I mean, they're pretty much paid off at this point. Or if I don't really owe much, if anything, in the next month or 2 on these cows, I mean, I can pretty much manage them however I want. And if I can't breed the heifers back this upcoming year, I can grow them up and I can get them synced up with the schedule of everybody else, because ideally I like to put the bull in June 1st to about August 1st and let that be my calving window. I just dropped the ball on it this year. I mean, I probably should have had the bull pulled out sooner, and we don't have to get into specifics, but everybody's pretty chill. Everybody's pretty quiet. Even the feeder calves really weren't that crazy this year. And you guys can't tell, but it's actually really dark in here. So they're eating their hay, doing good in their bedding. She's one of the ones that got hauled up from my place yesterday. All 3 of these were actually, but hope everybody enjoys the new year. I got a lot going on. I mean, a lot going on. And the goal was to try to drag that mole plow across the bottom and try, even if I don't get the whole thing done, the goal was to get at least some of those low spots that do have some water standing in them and get them so they'll hopefully drain between now and spring. Just talked to my agronomist and he said that also. It's too early to start saying the sky is falling for next year, growing season. But like he said, we're starting the first of the year. We're going in drier this year than what we were this previous year. So moisture in the ground is a little bit of a concern for people, but if you look at the forecast, they're starting to call for snow. They are calling for rain this weekend. It's a long way between now and planting, and pretty much it just boils down to more or less just getting a plan put together for how you're going to operate this year. I mean, if I can, I'll show you the plow real quick. I'll let you go, but it shipped it in from Ohio. A dealership bought it off a guy's, a guy that was getting out of farming or retired or whatever. And I guess the guy only used it once and then sat outside its whole life. But for those of you that don't know what a mole plow is, this is it. It's got just a one shank, and I didn't realize this in the pictures, which is irrelevant because I can already address it. Is I have to change out the pins to category 2 to category 1. The plan is to put the pins in, and then I have the ears that go over top these pins like that, and then I can actually use the quick hitch. Now, why am I talking about using the quick hitch? The reason being is because I'm actually a little concerned by the time I hook this up to the 7600, I may actually have to pull the drawbar either off the 76, or see, this is like got no wear on it at all. I'm either pulling the drawbar out of the 76 altogether, or I'm gonna have to slide it in, which it's not the end of the world. My goal is to really only use this once or once a year, which it really should be a non-issue. But the big seller on this thing is this mole plow. So this drags down behind the ripper here, and it's gonna make I'd say a poor man's tiling. It'll make a hole through the ground, a drain, and it'll allow it to have water seep into it and drain away from whatever you're at. So I mean, yes, the ripper in itself, it's going to make lines through the ground. That's hopefully going to let water that's trapped in low areas and drain away. All I got to do for what I paid for this, guys, $1,400 with shipping. So all I got to do is make one cutting off of those low areas that I did make for third cutting this year. Go watch the last, well, I'm not even sure the name of them, but the last couple videos of me making hay, or the last video of me baling, was me baling in those low spots. All I got to do is make one cutting off of that, and I made my money back on this. And the goal is, for the amount of work I've done cleaning up the bottom, cleaning up the valley, by going through and giving those areas a chance to dry out, the goal is to make at least 2, if not 3, depending on the spring or what kind of summer we have, where I can make all 3 cuttings off 100% of that farm down there. And my hay totals this year was 824 bales across everything. If I could go through and do what I'm intending on doing, 1,000 bales is very much within the realm of possibility. I mean, no exaggeration, no joke. But I'm kind of in the camp right now. It's supposed to be fairly warm the next couple days with some rain. Depending on what the ground looks like, I might throw this on the 76 and give it a go. Ideally, see, that's why I want to get it hooked up, is ideally you're able to back over like a ditch or something. I got some drainage ways where I'd like to be able to back in, drop this down, and actually make the drainage tunnels with this. So that way I can actually have the water drain from the low areas right into the ditch, and then allow it to drain off back down to the river. But the thing is the way I'm looking at it, for how aggressive this thing is, how much it sticks ahead, is the ability to actually back over into the creek or into the ditch there I got. and drop it in. So by putting the quick hitch on it, that'll gain me another 4 or 5 inches. I don't know if that's going to be enough to make a difference because I've never done it before. So maybe, just maybe, I'm going to have to involve you guys with doing this. But it's winter. I mean, we're looking at doing this at the end of the year, literally. But at least I was able to buy what I wanted. And a very odd, useful tool, I'd say. Not something... Basically, everybody I've talked to have no idea what this thing is until I describe it. So it'll be fun. I mean, New Zealand, Europe, a lot more people, like Australia, are using these versus basically anybody in the U.S. But it's not going to break too easy. I mean, that's a very solid piece of metal, and we'll just have to see if I can do what I intend it to do, which is I have one 7-acre field plus the neighbor's place. There's probably about 5 acres there, where not even running it into a ditch, but being able to go in every 20 feet, drop this down, and then just run the length of it with very minimal like surface disturbance. I mean, I'd rather do it now. Seems how we did our third cutting late enough where there wasn't a whole lot of regrowth, so you don't have to worry about much for grass or anything building up in front of that shank. Ideally, I can go through with minimal ground disturbance on top and reduce the amount of water accumulation I get on top of the soil. So the 76 is my everywhere tractor, and I don't know, things have changed year over year significantly, and if I can kind of keep it going the rate we're going, I mean, you got to utilize every little acre you got, right? And that is just one of those unique tools that I'm hoping will do exactly that. So if I haven't said it already, happy holidays. I mean, no end of the year video from this guy. And until next time, take care, take it easy, keep in touch. I'll talk to you guys later.